great day and enjoying time with friends and family as well. So, greetings to everyone. This is going to be, I'll try to make it fun. I'll try to make it fun. It's a very deep topic. It's a very complex topic, but I always try to make it digestible, right? Like make it approachable as well. Okay, so there are different schools of thoughts when it comes to field of consciousness and all of those things. But again, I'll try to make it approachable. Okay, so the first thing I want to cover today, and greetings again to everyone. Feel free to drop a comment. Let us know where you're joining from. Feel free to engage, share, like, subscribe. Yeah, do all the normal social media, internet stuff. But I hope you pay attention and grab a pen and paper because again, we're going to go deeper. I have my notes, and let's get started. Greetings, Lenise. Thank you for joining on Clubhouse. So yeah, I'm starting now and going deeper. Okay, so let me start with competence. Okay, when it comes to competence, just think about what you have ability on, right? You have knowledge, you have skills. You're able to leverage the knowledge and the skills you've developed to complete a task, to achieve something. And when it comes to competence, there are different levels of competency. You can be at the introductory level, intermediate level, experience level, mastery level, right? And one of the things people are not conscious of is that your perspective, your awareness, your consciousness about any domain is heavily influenced by your own competency level. So oftentimes you find people talk about things that they've only been introduced to as if they are masters. Okay, I'm going to break it down because this is something to watch out for. Is that your competency level, how much exposure, experience, skills, understanding, knowledge you acquire over a period of time about a domain influences your perspective, like shapes your perspective, shapes what you know about that space. If you've only been exposed to a knowledge, say, for 6 months, versus somebody that has been in that field, say, for 20, 30 years, they are not at the same competency level. And so those two people, if they speak and talk about that same subject, their depth of experience, right, their level of skills will be portrayed by how informed they are about that experience. Why am I going into this? You're living at a time where many people claim to know something and they are trying to teach people online. And the reality is that many people are following the wrong people. Okay, I'm going to connect this to manifestation. If you want to learn, if you want to grow, if you want to achieve, right, build the business and life you want, you have to pursue higher levels of competency. And so one of the phenomenon is that only those who know original can actually also understand what is fake. Okay, only those who know the original will easily spot the fake. This is an understanding that people who do not know the original can mistake fake for original. But those who are masters, they can spot who knows what they're talking about or who doesn't. But those who don't know cannot make that distinction. So you're going to find online the blind leading the blind not knowing they are being led by the blind. But those who are experts in the field can tell the difference. The reason I'm sharing this is because you find so many people, feeling discouraged, jaded, disappointed. Oh, I followed this person, I followed this, I signed up here, I did this, I'm still lost, right? They're still lost. They've not reached the destination that was promised. And part of the phenomenon is that the knowledge that people are using to decide, to make a decision on who they are following and who they are investing in or what programs they're investing in is actually flawed. Why is it flawed? Is that many people listen to sound bites. Okay, there's a certain sound that is that pleases the senses. If somebody sounds plausible, someone charismatic, someone that makes you feel good. People are likely to follow people who make them feel good, not people who know what they're talking about. Because depth of competency actually requires you to dive into knowledge. When it's time to learn, when it's time to train, actually there's pain involved, because you have to challenge your mind to shift, to expand, right? Domain of consciousness. If you want to learn how to drive a car, you're going to struggle, right? Anything that requires cognitive, like serious brain power to learn, you have to focus on learning. But what's going on right now is people think they are learning when they are being told, oh, follow the entertainer, you know, follow the entertainer, follow those who sound good, who sound like it's not a lot of work, follow those who make you feel good, right? Who entertain you, who make you laugh. That's good. But trust me, you do that for 5 years and they don't tell you to develop skills, because actually developing skills, you're going to sweat a little bit, meaning you're going to go through a transformation. Skill development requires us to change because you are growing new muscles, new dexterity, new abilities. Anytime you're growing and expanding consciousness and developing competency, something in your brain physically and something in your body physically has to change. That is where growth is. So if you don't expose yourself to the process of growth, but you're exposing yourself only to sound bites, pleasure, people who, charisma, they are shouting, go, you're saying, yes, go. Oh, it feels exciting. You're still not growing. You're just being inspired. You can be inspired, right? Someone's story can inspire you, make you feel good. There is emotion behind inspiration. When you hear somebody's story, you consider your own dreams, hopes, aspiration, and you're like, I love to hear this story. This is fantastic. Inspiration is fantastic on the journey. If you're stuck in only pursuing inspiration, you just want to listen to inspiration, people that make you keep hope, hope alive, that is still not growth. That is preparation. Right? Inspiration is supposed to get you into enrollment in this transformation process. That's not transformation. Inspiration is not transformation. Inspiration is not transformation. Right? In the EQ class, I actually break down different stages of transformation. So competency, there are levels of it. Let's just say introductory level, beginner. You keep working at it. You're developing skills, remember. You're expanding consciousness in a domain, right? You grow some more, you grow some more, you increase proficiency in specific areas, tasks in that space. You keep pushing forward. Suddenly, you enter a realm where your mind, your brain gets it, right? Once you get it, you get it. But before you get it, the process we all have to go through to develop skills, this is what is holding people from making progress, is that you may expose your mind to certain concepts and understand the theory of that concept. But theory is general knowledge. The practice of it is where you generate practical knowledge. And that's where the training of the mind and body, lives in. You can have general understanding about marketing, sales, business concepts, psychology. You know the importance of it. You can have general knowledge about basketball, soccer. You can have general knowledge. But if you want to be competent in a domain, you have to develop skills. If you want to achieve results in a specific area, you have to give yourself time to go deeper. The depth of knowledge, you have to increase consciousness. You have to go deeper in that space. for you to develop. And right there is the gap. People who consume content, but they do not enter the transformation, right? They don't take advantage of the transformative power of discipline. And results and everything people want is on the backside. It's beyond the discipline of practice. The life you want, the business you want, the results you want is beyond, right? You get it after you've mastered, after you've achieved, after you've developed skills, then you can perform, you can manifest, you can create. Okay? So content alone can nourish your mind, maybe expand, right? Now you're aware, okay? It can increase your awareness. But if you want to grow competency, you have to go head down, learn more, practice discipline, skills grow and increase over time through repetition and practice. And without skills, there's not much people can do actually. Right? Without skills, without the right knowledge, without the right skills, right? There's general knowledge, but specific knowledge will help you develop specific skills. General knowledge is general, is available to everybody. General knowledge is always available to everybody, right? It's everywhere. But specific knowledge that will help you generate specific results, that's what is expensive. And in order to do it, you have to discipline, you have to learn, you have to become a student of life. So greetings everyone for joining. Let us know where you're joining from. If anything I've shared resonates with you, feel free to drop a comment. If you have any questions, feel free to ask as well. Feel free to engage. And thank you everyone for being here. Okay, now let me go into some interesting things. I'll bring in some spiritual psychology into today's discussion. And usually my lessons are, rooted in faith-based principles, spirituality. I know many people talk about manifestation. They just say, oh, the universe. I say, no, the God that created the universe has designed the universe in a certain way. He has designed you, right? Parts of you to function a certain way. Because when it comes to competency, when it comes to expanding consciousness, part of it is plugging in, okay, to the body of knowledge, the expansive body of knowledge that God has and He has released. That's why in the Bible it says, ignorance, my people perish for lack of knowledge. Is that ignorance of any concept means you cannot manifest in that domain. Okay? Ignorance of the medical field means you cannot claim to be a doctor. So ignorance closes people out from manifesting results in a domain. You can dream, you can wish all you want, but in order to manifest, your mind and your body must expand consciousness in that space and also must develop competency. You cannot claim to be. Listen, this reality is designed in such a way you only get who you are. You cannot get anything that you do not embody. Right? You get who you are. Who you are, who you become. When you expand competency and consciousness, you're going to get more out of life, out of this reality. So overall, this is really about quality of life. The quality of life you want ought to influence, okay, what you're exposing your mind to, what you're learning. And the interesting thing is, if I say, okay, let's go back to the beginning of life. You see, in the garden, I'm talking about the Bible now, scriptures. We were told, right? We're informed that Adam and Eve had direct engagement, relationship with the source of all knowledge, God. Listen, when you are plugged into divine knowledge, that's when you can tap into all things are possible to them that believe. But ignorance is when people are not enlightened. There's no light, there's no illumination. There's nothing you can do in the dark when there's no light in you, because you're supposed to draw light into yourself. You're supposed to draw knowledge into your being. The thoughts, the quality of the thoughts circulating in your being, your programming, you do life within yourself, your own thought processes, the person you've become, what you identify with, your belief system. That is the quality of all you can manifest. So if you want to manifest at a higher level, you've got to level up. You've got to take all of your vibration to higher levels of consciousness. Okay? And from a spiritual psychology standpoint, you can either tune your mind to external factor, the flesh, what's going on externally, or you can allow your mind to be programmed by the divine. Right? Bible talks about, right? Let the spirit lead you. Are you being led by the spirit or are you being led by the flesh? The idea is that the mind is exposed to reality through the five senses: taste, touch, sight, sound, right? The five senses, which one? Hearing, right? You know them. And so it takes in information. And I shared this in the EQ class as well at toyin.academy. The mind takes information from your physical experiences, what you're going through, what you're seeing, what you're experiencing right now. And that data, that information is part of consciousness. Now, there is an interpretation layer that is part of you, yourself. 5 people can experience the same thing and come up with 5 different stories. So that's why we're all different. How we interpret reality, our conclusions, our judgment, our assertions, our decisions about what we're exposed to and what we're taking, it's specific to individual. That's why we're all different. 5 people can sit around in the same church, listen to the same thing. They can sit in the same class, listen to the same thing. But what they draw, what they extract, the meaning they also, right, decide, they make out of those experiences is unique to each person. And part of what I teach in the EQ class is it's not just be careful, it's more of be more deliberate, be more intentional in what you're extracting from life. Don't just eat everything. Don't just download anything into your system. Some of those things are viruses. Soon enough, people will start being afraid, doubting, right, confused. They're not confident in themselves anymore. Why is that? It's because you've taken in a thought. You've taken in a thought. You've taken in a thought and you're holding you're holding on to a thought. You're believing a thought that is in opposition to your real identity. And that keeps people stuck. Right? And if you're not aware, if you're not conscious of these things, many people get stuck in, oh, they can't do this. You don't have this. You don't have this. You can't do this because of this. And then the thought becomes a cage and it drowns people. And it oftentimes it spirals down, because if you don't break out of that, right, you can't manifest, because it starts manifesting itself. Your thoughts start reproducing the same reality, because I've shared, right, how the mind processes thoughts. It listens to you, and the first, right, input process output, the first output will be felt in as reactions in your body. That's what we call emotions. And based on your conclusions, decisions, you have feelings. You can store the feelings, information about the feelings plus the memory, store it in your data bank. Soon enough, if anything that resembles that pop up in your future, guess what? The memory and the feelings come up again, and you just think like it just happened. And that pattern repeats itself if you don't clear it. Okay? Those patterns repeat themselves if you don't break it. Okay. So just imagine the garden, right? You're plugged into God. Listen, the super intelligence of the person who created the universe, the person who created you, the person who created everything, that ought to be our source of inspiration. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, right? But many people have gone so far away from the source, right? And part of what has happened over years is that we now come into the world with zero consciousness. If you watch babies, they have to, even their own hands and legs, they are so fascinated. Like, wow, my hands. Wow. Legs. Some kids will put their toes, taste it. What does the toe taste like? Because they are experiencing reality and they are expanding consciousness. Okay, awareness, knowledge of universe, space, time, you, the world around you, right? As a being, you ought to be expanding, right? Expanding. There's no limitation. Because when it comes to manifestation, only the consciousness you draw, the light you bring into you, that's what you can use to manufacture your own realities. Okay? What you know and what you know about what you know, right? That's all you've got. And so if you want to design a life beyond your own consciousness, you have to expand. Whenever you want to do something and achieve a result outside of your domain of competence, consciousness, you've got to grow. You've got to expand. You've got to learn more. Okay? And who is responsible for this expansion? It's you. Because many people can close their minds and say, you know what? I'm happy here. In fact, what I see, and this is something to watch out for, are people who say they want to grow, but they've closed their mind from growing. And maybe because people don't know the discipline and the process of how people actually grow. So I find this contradictory state of being where people say, Toyin, tell me more, tell me more. But trust me, the perspective and position those people are taking in their heart is one of pride and assertions that they already know everything. And they're just trying to see, oh, what else is there to know? You can't learn that way. If you are asking life to prove you, listen, life will always prove you right. Your mind is designed to make your assertions true. That's manifestation. Whatever you believe, you will manifest. Whatever you embody, you will manifest. So no matter what you say, oh, Toyin, yeah, this, the belief of your heart, like people cannot help you if you don't change the belief of your heart. If you think you already know everything, then life will say, you know what? This person is not going anywhere. Leave them there. Right? If you are skeptical, right? And not optimistic, and you're like, oh, don't, everything is, you see life through negativity. Listen, if you're looking for a red car, you find a red car everywhere you go. You're looking for a blue car, you find blue cars everywhere you go. The mind does that to you. So you will find reasons to be more skeptical. You will find everything you believe. That's how it is. And those who are optimistic and they believe they have a sense of possibility. Listen, they are growing because life rewards you based on your belief system. If you're optimistic that great things will happen, trust me, you attract great things into your life. If you say life is this, life is not fair, you will attract the same. Be careful. I'm saying be more intentional. Once you understand the principles of life, these spiritual principles, you have to be more intentional. And also, what I've also found is that many people, again, competency has levels: beginner, intermediate, right, professional, master, whatever level. And what I've seen is that when people speak about a topic, you can quickly assess, is this a beginner, an intermediate, a master? Because people sound so sure. People who sound so sure are beginners. People who assert themselves with such audacity, listen, you've not dug to the depths of consciousness. Those who are masters are more humble. Why is that? Because the more they've gone into the topic, they've come to realize that there's more about that topic they don't know much about. Those who know more are more humble. Those who know less, they are more proud. That's the, irony of life. When I encounter people and they say, oh, I'll do this and I'll do that and I'll do this website and I'll create this business. I'm like, listen, you've not created nothing, because those of us who are in the trenches building every single day, we've come to be humbled by the process of manifestation, creativity. Okay, once you embark on it, you become a student of life. And the more you go into knowledge, acquisition, wisdom, ancient wisdom, you begin to realize, whoa, there is so much more. You have to be humbled. But those who haven't gone anywhere, they are sitting on the sidelines. It's like the spectators. The spectators shout louder than the players, the key players. I'm just sharing this so that people are aware. Okay? The spectators are louder than the player because the players are focused on results, specific results. And those who shout, referee, those who are shouting are not in the game. They don't have skin in the game. They don't. They don't know how tough. They're not sweating. Listen, they're not exerting energy. They're not using up, productive energy. They're sitting on the seat and saying, oh, kick this, kick this. They're throwing instructions out to those who are trained for success. And then when the game is over, those in the spectators, seats, they go home to the same life. Nothing has changed. And those who are the players, they're the ones who become winners and they train for the next success. So just be aware that if you want to really start manifesting at the highest levels, you cannot be a spectator in your own reality. Right? You cannot be, because nobody is responsible for giving you the crown, the trophy, the championship, the success, the money, the life you want. You go get it. You go get it. And one of the way of getting it is expanding your competency levels in domains that you want to manifest in and making sure that you're learning more. You're enlightening yourself, because if you stay where you are, you limit how much you can get out of life, no matter what those dreams are. In fact, your competencies must match. It must match. You cannot say, oh, I want to be a governor. I want to be a musician. I want to be an actor. I want to be, well, show me your receipts. Life will ask you, show me your receipts. David was the anointed king, but trust me, for you to physically be crowned king, even though you're anointed king, there's a level of performance. The Bible talks about at a certain time, kings are expected to go to war. Have you trained for the war, the wrestles in your domain, leadership? Have you prepared yourself to be a winner in that domain? Right? Are you ready to bring down the Goliath? Do you have the skills, the competency to perform at the levels expected in that domain? Right? You want to be an actor. Are you a beginner actor, intermediate, professional, or best in class? Listen, I shared something in the class I taught last week. And I said, only passion can create champions. Passion. All the winners in the world. You can't be a winner at those levels without passion. You see, many people in the world can say, I want this, I want that, I desire this, I desire that. Listen, but the level of energy you're ready to put behind developing competency, achieving success, will influence how far you go on that journey. Those who throw everything, passion is not holding back. You don't mice energy. You give your life all the energy you have, plus more, divine, right? Those are the only people who break through. There's nobody that you can point to right now at any heights of success. Ronaldo, Messi, listen, all the actors put together, the musicians, and all the greats, the legends that you and I know in business, in all fields of consciousness, all fields. The people you know that excel, passion got them there. Passion is how you tear down opposition. Other people will see obstacles and go, oh, they become victims of reality. Because life will throw you sparring partners. People who help you expand. People who help you develop skills. Your practice, right? Where's your practice? So passion. Passion is required to get to the top of Mount Everest. To be an Olympian. Because, you know, it, why would people become great? When I talk about nurturing greatness, it's much more than I would like. It's much more than the casual, oh, it's okay, I just want this, okay, I just desire this, okay. No, 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 no. Passion is hot, right? It's like fire. It's pure energy for pursuit. It's a decision that you're not going to stop until you have everything you desire. So if you stop, right, you stop where you can stop. Those who don't stop and keep going is that they've made a commitment to themselves, they've negotiated something different with life, and they are going to collect what they've negotiated. They will not let life give them anything less than they've negotiated. You have to have a decision in your life how far you want to go. Right? You've got to develop, like, this is your internal talk. You've got to wrestle and make a decision inside you of who you want to be, what you want to do, what you want to pursue, and making sure you also have a conversation with yourself that you will not let yourself down. You will not sabotage yourself, because this is the only reason why you have to discipline yourself. Those who do not discipline themselves, you don't discipline your mind, you don't discipline your body. Trust me, when the going gets tough, your mind and your body will tell you, why are you putting us through this pain? Why are you putting us through this practice, this discipline? Look at everybody else. They are doing barest minimum. Why are we waking up 5:35 a.m. to go to the gym? Why? Your mind and body will question your intentions. Because your mind and body is a tool for performance, right? And it's going to be part of the journey of manifestation. Okay, you want to lose weight. Fine. Once that process kicks in, now you have to discipline. Now you have to exercise. Now you have to do this differently. Your mind will say, why? Why? Why are you denying me the comfort of sleep? Why? In fact, your body will say, leave me alone. Now that's where that negotiation, the conversation you're going to have with yourself, that's why it's so important. Anyway. So, what can you see? What do you know? What do you perceive? What are your perspectives? Right, of your competency level? How do you speak of topics you know something about or you don't know anything about? Right? Because, again, people speak and people talk. Those of us who know, right, we know who is right and who is just saying whatever they read in the book, theory. But what's also unfortunate, what is unfortunate is that the people they are leading, the people who follow those who don't know, they are being led by their senses. Those people are sounding right. They're sounding like they know. And those who don't know the difference. If you don't know the original dollar, the fake will look like the original. Right? And only those who know the original will see fake from a mile off and say, don't come near me. Right? So what's happening in life is that people are not achieving breakthrough barriers because they've tuned themselves to people who are leading them into the ditch. 6 months after, you realize you've not gone far, you've never achieved more. So I'm sharing this so that you become more aware that not everybody who is speaking, who is sharing, who is posting, right, is the real stuff. Okay? Right? Because that's one of the reasons someone like myself will come out here and warn people. Anybody that makes anything sound easy, run away from them. Because those who are building world-class businesses, listen, I will tell you, enroll, don't fail fast, learn fast. because fail fast is also part of the problem. Okay? Have you ever heard anybody tell a pilot to fail fast, a surgeon to fail fast, a doctor to fail fast, an accountant to fail fast, a lawyer to fail fast? They don't use that narrative on any other profession. They don't. Entrepreneurship is not rocket science. I'm a business instructor. I teach at business school and I have my own business school. It's not rocket science. But if you don't have consciousness, if you don't have competency, you cannot perform in that realm. It's like if I give you a plane and I say, fly this plane. Or this is a river, I say, swim, and you've never learned how to swim. Swimming is easy to those who have proficiency. And swimming is difficult to those who do not have. That's how life is. You see people jumping out of the plane, skydiving. They're laughing. They're having fun. They make it look easy. If you attempt to skydive because it looks easy, but you don't have competency, you are falling down. That's why people fail. People fail for lack of competency and skills. That's it. So you don't have to fail. No. You don't have to fail. You can learn. Nobody allows a doctor to fail. It's incompetence. Nobody ever tells a doctor, I wish you will fail fast. Just hurry up. Pass through the failure moments. Don't worry. Fail. Nobody says that because it's nonsensical. It's just crazy. You send them to 7 years of school and more. Those who you do not want to see failure, you send them to discipline, learn, develop skills, so that because failure is not acceptable. So why are people accepting failure in entrepreneurship and business? Why? Because the cost is on you. Nobody bears the cost for you. If you try entrepreneurship and you fail, the world doesn't change. The world doesn't even blink. The world doesn't feel the pain of your own failure. You are the one that bears it. You, your family, your health, everything. So that's why the world hasn't designed anything to support, right? So they say, Phil, just jump into the ocean. Don't learn how to swim. Jump off the mountain. Don't learn how, don't pack any parachute. Just jump. Just jump off the plane. Don't learn how to skydive. They're asking you to take extreme risk, to use your health, your money, everything, to take risks that can be mitigated by learning. That is the craziest thing that I've seen in this space. This language that everybody keeps repeating. Fail fast, fail fast. I'm like, gosh, have you ever told a rocket scientist to fail fast? No. Trust me, for those who are looking to people like Elon Musk that are at the edge of breakthrough, listen, they come to the edge of breakthrough with serious competency. They don't come with ignorance. If those who innovate, those who attempt to innovate, attempt to push the world into new realms and higher levels of consciousness, they are breaking barriers into new domains that others have not ventured before. You see, the Isaac Newtons, the Faradays, all of those people who pushed life to the edge of creativity, of innovation, of science, they came to those domains with the most brilliant minds, knowledge available on planet Earth. They did not come to those domains with ignorance. Ignorance does not open anything. Ignorance does not open anything, doesn't open any doors. So those people, it's not that they are failing, it's that they are breaking us through. They are at the edge of quantum leap into new domains that then changes the future of the world. They are the edge of creativity, of innovation. They don't come to that edge with ignorance. They come with books. They are the most studied in the world. They are the most exposed in the world. They are the most brilliant in the world. And they are dragging reality into domains of breakthrough. No. That's not fail fast. That is achieve breakthrough. Take us into dimensions we've never been before. Those who fail, they are those who refuse to learn from people who have achieved breakthrough in those spaces before. Big difference. Please, let's break it down. If the world has done what it is you are trying to do and you refuse to go and learn what the world has done, that is failure. If you're supposed to interrogate previous knowledge that is documented, right? That's why if you want to be a doctor, people have written books, anatomy of the human body, skeletal system. People have broken through barriers. They've learned the human anatomy. They've written it and documented what they learned in books. They bring you the books. The teacher teaches you, meaning there is previous knowledge in this domain that you can tap into, you can learn, you can now take that knowledge, apply it in your own world. When there is no existing knowledge of how to move humans to Mars, that's not failure. That's not failure. That is exploration of new territories and domain. You're picking into a domain that nobody has dared try to accomplish. That's not failure. It's not. It's breakthrough. Breaking through. Breaking through is different. It's that you are reaching realms. You've acquired so much knowledge. You've acquired so much discipline. You've pushed yourself. You've acquired knowledge, discipline, right? And you are taking everything, the force that you have, you are applying it into a domain that if you break through, the whole world changes. That's different. Let's call that what it is. What I'm talking about are people that the world has written books. There is school. There's all kinds of resources ready. You're supposed to invest, learn it, but you're refusing to learn. That's the one that is a big failure. You want to swim. Somebody can teach you how to swim. You want to fish. Somebody's ready. Fishing is not new. In realms where the world has acquired consciousness, documented, right? You can learn. You don't have to hit your head on the wall. But trust me, this is where the caution is. Many people will still sit on the sideline and still be in the dark. Instead of opening their eyes and asking questions and investing to acquire. Listen, to expand consciousness is very expensive. It's an expensive expenditure. Beyond just in monetary terms, your own energy, the effort you will even invest in that process is what is most expensive. It's not the money. It's not. Money is the cheapest investment in your future. Yes. Money is a replenishable resource. Your time is not. Your energy, right? Money is the cheapest thing. when people get hung up and say, oh, I don't have money, I don't have... Listen, the first thing you will invest is your own time and energy. And many people have not invested enough of that. You will sit with yourself. You will think deeply. Listen, you will think. To be an entrepreneur, be ready to think. You're a problem solver, solution provider. Listen, you will think, process, try this. You will go on exploration, inner exploration. You discover yourself on that journey. So when I see people today that just say, oh, money. No. I'm going, what energy have you put into what you say you want? Let's measure that. How many hours every day have you invested in researching, right? And creating your business plan? Let's start there. The cell phone in your hand, you can access internet and you can use your cell phone to go deeper. But trust me, people will give 4 hours to something else. So let's start there. How have you pushed yourself into new realms? Just be honest with yourself. Because most people have excuses, but I'm telling you, your future will not accept excuses when you arrive in the future. It doesn't. I'm just being honest. And I know. Those who know. Anyway. Okay. The masters speak carefully because listen, the more you go into the depths of knowledge, you just realize what? The expansiveness of, particularly divine knowledge, spirituality. You are just a baby. But then I encounter people who go, Toyin, yes. I'm like, listen, the scholars in this space, they are humble. The newcomers are the arrogant ones. So watch out for that. You don't want the blind leading the blind. right, is that many people will assert themselves, will be, oh, marketing, oh, branding, oh, they make it sound easy. No, it's none of those things are easy. The other day, a few weeks ago, I hosted an award-winning author on marketing, brand marketing. Listen, world class. He joined. He was on my TV show from Canada. Anybody that, even the field of marketing is a study. The field of brand is a study. Like, but people who scratch the surface, suddenly they're like, I'm the best thing since life. I'm like, no, no, no. Brands have been built for over 100 years. Coca-Cola, all those companies, right? So this is not, branding is not new. And so there are people who have greater competency. They do, those who help build Fortune 500, the biggest businesses in the world. They know more than you. We're supposed to go and learn, right? But trust me, most of the things I see online, I'm like, listen, well, if you don't know, you won't know those who don't know. that's the that's the phenomenon. Is like those who don't know, they will believe people who sound like they know, not people who really know. Because people who sound like they know, they use sensationalism, brag, this horror. They talk big, they do this, they show you what you want to hear, they tell you what you want to hear, they show you what you want to see, and so you follow because they sound right, not because they have competency. Start asking people to show you what they've done before you follow people, before you sign up. Do your, like, start asking for receipts. Don't just be believing sensational, because trust me, everybody can be a movie star today. Just get your videographer and everything. We can tell you a story. Anybody can tell you any story they want you to believe. If you believe the story, I'm saying do your own research to ask for receipts. Show me what have you done before, who has worked with you before, so that you can start exposing, right? Before all the stories of people saying, I tried this, it didn't work, I believe this. And now when the real stuff is showing up, when the original shows up, people are so jaded and blinded and hot from past, right, realities, that they don't know what to believe now. Now their heart is hardened. Well, you did that to yourself. And this is why I'm creating awareness, is that people who don't know how to spot people who don't know. People who know the original, we can see that thing a mile off. People who are online on social media telling you this, telling you that. I'm like, listen, I worked as a strategist for Fortune 1, the biggest company in the world. I serve on the board of a publicly traded company. All this stuff online, it cannot move a business from here to there. People say, oh, create a course, create this, create. I'm like, listen, branding, brand is what lasts. Product and services have a shelf life. That's why you see companies say 2000, iPhone 1, iPhone 2, iPhone 3, 10, 4, because there's a lot of science to all of these things. Spiritual psychology, human psychology, all of those things, emotional intelligence. So I'm just challenging people. Listen, the further you want to go in life, the further you want to achieve in life, expand your consciousness, grow your competency, develop skills. You have to develop skills. Somebody can not drag you up the ladder of success. Nobody can carry you on their back. You've got to carry your own weight. You've got to pull your own weight. You've got to discipline yourself. You've got to be a professional, a sales professional, a business professional. That's the only way you build a world-class business. You cannot build a world-class business doing amateur stuff on social media. But that's where people collect your money. They'll tell you, we'll teach you this. You can dance here. Dance. Okay, dance. It's okay. Dancing is fantastic. Exercise. Listen, music is great. I dance. I'm just trying to call out that there's so much more. Or there's so much more to the results we all want to get. So it's easy for the blind to be easily led astray. That's the world we are living in now. People, you can consume content, follow people, but the question is, what transformation have those content given birth to for you? What has changed? Because if your life is not changing, then what are you doing? Right? Listen, there's still so much more, but does anybody have any questions or comments? Let me invite a few people. If you're available, fine. If not, that's okay. I get it. Um, the replay will be on the YouTube side. So if you have questions, drop it. And thank you everyone that has joined. Hi Ty, how are you today? Happy Saturday, happy Easter. Thoughts, reactions?
Hey, Toyin, did I say your name right?
Yes, 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 you did. Thank you.
Awesome. Um, well, I was just sitting and listening to your talk, and I think you said a lot of good wisdoms, actually, that we all need to hear. I just couldn't have enough, so I wanted you to keep going, actually.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for
know,
that.
I was thinking perhaps, like you said, you have your recorded talks, but you can have them run on this app 24/7, and people would come and listen to them. Oh, wow. Have you noticed there are a couple of channels like that?
No, I've not. So I'll be honest with you. I spend as little time online as possible. I actually have a TV show. I do things in real life, right? So when I come online, like right now, I'm streaming. I'm this is it. This is what people get of me online. So I'm here. I listen, but I'm not into too much content consumption. There's so many things I'm involved in. I do government stuff and all that, but part of why I'm hosting sessions like this is that when it comes to connecting people to opportunities at the highest levels, what I'm finding is that if people like myself exclude ourselves from the online conversation, people don't know anything else happening beyond the online space. Because if this is all they get, if what's available is all, I'm trying to say this in a way that people understand. If this is all people are tuning into, if people are 100% tuning in only to internet, people don't really understand how multi-million dollar businesses are created. Companies have been creating wealth for generations. Most of the real stuff is done in private rooms, private programs, private events. This is where the most sophisticated, advanced work that moves the world forward in the world of business, it happens offline. But I also appreciate, by the way, I also appreciate, like, listen, all the amazing things people are doing on social media today. But I always tell people the biggest challenge is that the inner work that you have to go through to break through online is nowhere. It doesn't really happen online. That inner, like facing yourself, the conversation you have to have with your inner mind to get rid of your fears, remove your doubts, build your confidence, having a sense of belief, not a sense of limitation, right? The manifestation has to do with your spirit, the connection of your spirit with your heart, with your mind, with your body, how you commune with yourself to propel yourself in the forward side. That's the real work that will then help you to use content to build your life. People are putting, is it the horse before the cat or the cat? You understand what I'm saying? Is that content is not the first thing we ought to go after. What we need to go after is inner work. Listen to your own voice. You actually carry a sense of consciousness. Your spirit has a lot of things to tell you. Your dreams, hopes, aspiration is a clue of your future. Your mind knows your past, but trust me, your heart knows your future. God has encoded in every human greatness. Listen, you are the seed of greatness. Everything you're going to manifest, creates, you can call manufacture, because manifestation is the ultimate creativity and productivity of divine nature. The ideas you embody, the hopes, dreams, aspiration, where did they come from? I cannot tell you who you're supposed to be, but trust me, if you quiet yourself and listen to your own soul, you will find out your own answer. That's the work we are not doing. Opening ourselves to even the consciousness of who you are. Do you know who you are? Do you know you? Because the journey of wealth building is part of self-actualization. Because the way let me share this, then I'll open it up for more discussion. The way I teach entrepreneurship is three-dimensional. I talk about entrepreneurship principles. The entrepreneur is somebody that brings their ideas to life. You can be a business owner without being an entrepreneur. You can go and buy a laundromat. You can go and do franchising. Somebody else has done the work. You can go and invest and become a, you can fast track your wealth creation process and just go into invest and buy a business. They'll give you the processes, they'll give you an existing brand, they've done the work for you. But if you're an entrepreneur, you are bringing an original idea, even if it is a copy, even if you saw somebody do something, it becomes an original. Why? Because your fingerprint will now be on that thing. Somebody can have a restaurant and you want to give birth to a restaurant, but because it's going to be your hands, your mind, your spirit betting that same idea, you're going to put your spin on it. Your spirit, your energy will rest on that work. You're going to bet. No matter, even if it's a copy, even if you are doing what everybody else has done, so you will still rebet it. You will still bet it. So the process of an entrepreneur has to go through. Listen, parts of you will break, new parts of you will encounter new dimensions of you. That's why I always talk about dealing with your past, because on your journey into the future, you will engage with your past again. Your past will show up, because as you are ascending, as you are going higher, as your plane is taking flight, anything you don't bolt down, anything you're not secure about, if you're not secure about your identity, if you're not secure about your relationships, if you're not secured about life, who you are, your stories, they will all come flying out. Now you have to catch it and reconcile all those differences. There's a lot of therapy required. That's why in my school, I actually teach my entrepreneurial self-therapy. Because every single day, as your mind is solving all kinds of things, your emotions will be going with your mind. High, low, happy, not happy. So you have to regulate yourself. You have to develop new skills. Like if you're an employee and sitting at a desk and you're just doing what they tell you to do and you're getting your money, you don't go through that process. So I have to give my entrepreneur special skills, because this is normal. It's normal. But again, all that inner work, the entrepreneur has to grow. There's self-actualization, because if you don't ascend in your thinking, in your emotions, in your belief system, you can only bring the consciousness you have to your day job, to your business. Just like your employer will invest in you, send you on training, on performance, this. You are now the most important asset in your own journey. And I say, listen, do a good job, do a great job for your future. Like, invest in yourself, be the best person to handle your own hopes, dreams, aspirations. Like, rescue yourself, be your own hero. Like, be Superman or Superwoman or Catwoman. Like, raise your energy, believe in your dreams, for you, for your future, for your children, for legacy. Do it for you. Don't do it. Don't do it for anybody else. Do it for you. Become the best, because when you are the best, you can bring the best to your own life. Your life. Like, it's about you. That's why I say, how much energy are you giving to what you want? How much force are you putting behind propelling yourself forward? Because by the way this thing works, life will push you, you push it. Life will push you, right? Because to advance, for the plane to take off, it rides opposition, the headwinds. Those who are going higher, they face greater headwinds than people who are driving a car on the ground. Anyway, so there's a lot there. And then there's business development, putting the right structure for sustainability. That's another skill. An entrepreneur must be vast, right? You must expose yourself into different fields of consciousness, human psychology, behavioral science. Listen, the more you can learn about human condition, hopes, dreams, aspirations of your clients, their desires, their aspirations, the pain, their struggles, their life, you have to become conversant and aware and intelligent about the human condition for you to be a great entrepreneur. You cannot be making assumptions. For you to be a superior, let me if you want to be one of the best entrepreneurs in the world, these are people who are intuitive, They have great emotional intelligence. They have great wisdom. They have to tap into consciousness because every business is serving another human. So your knowledge of humanity, our quest, our desires, our longing, right? Even where we want to put our energy, where we are taking our life, where we are taking ourselves, our children, the things we care about, that knowledge is what you bring and use to build your business. Without that knowledge, you'll be confused. Oh, why are people not buying? Oh, why are people not reacting? Listen, go and listen to the heart of those people. It's not just high IQ. You can be smart intellectually, but listen, if you don't have emotional intelligence, how do you connect to another person's heart and serve them? Okay, let me bring myself down. Let me just let's keep this fun and easy going. So, Ty, it's a lot. And I recognize that. I appreciate that you also recognize that. But I'm seeing that people may be stuck. And please do share what you've experienced as well. Let other people learn from you as well. And thank you again to those who are joining. What's your reaction to that, Ty?
I'm on the same page there. I think what's happening is kids who are getting to this internet thing are a bit confused, and partly because of the parents and the teaching they're getting from their mentors and all of that. Wow. That they're getting a very conflicting message that says you don't have to go to school to make money. And that's what I'm hearing from grown-ups telling kids.
Okay.
That if you spend your time on Instagram or YouTube, you can make money doing something about content. And they're not equipping them with the skills and competences they need to be able to do that. They just are figuring it out. So the talk that you're giving to some other communities, say Asians, for example, it's given. They know that. They have to get the skills and competencies. Then everything else follows. But our kids are not armed with skills and competencies and thrown into YouTube, right?
Okay.
So the difficulty is that now you're 17, 18, 19, 20, you missed the chance to go to college, you're in 20s. And you find yourself, scrambling what to do on YouTube and what to sell. Or Instagram, right? So Toyin comes in and tells them, wake up. Right? So they have been deep asleep with the conflicting messages that they're getting. And, here they are in their 20s trying to figure it out. They missed the boat, that is, right? So it starts at home, parents. If you're not engaged with your kids into their future, somehow just letting them know, they'll figure it out on their own. They'll find something that they like. Wow. And that type of thing has not helped us, right? And because if you're not guiding them in that process, somebody else will.
Sure.
Your friends.
Yes.
Right? So that's what's happening. And if you compare, and I try to compare with other communities, and this community is saying, do not compare us with others. They're privileged, we know that, right? In other words, they're intentionally not wanting to face their reality, but keep hitting the wall. So, it starts at home. They have to get the skills. Do not be afraid to go to college. Put your time into getting education, but if you keep on believing this flat earth, you're going to be flat.
Yeah, and wow, thank you so much for that, and welcome those who are just joining as well. So let's start. Andrea, I see you, Coco as well, Louis MC, thank you, and I see Josh Bob, Gospel, Mwambweze. Thank you everyone. T Noma, thank you everybody, and those on the other platform. Feel free to drop your name or comments or questions as well. So let's start with the concept of education. Okay, so the educational system we have today is so in need of an upgrade. So much in need of an upgrade. Because it came out of serving the industrial era. Technically speaking, humans were turned into machine, right? Where we were nurtured intellectually, but the entire human being was not nurtured. So we were tasked with growing intellectually so that we could develop skills that would then be marketable. We could trade with the industries. Okay. So the education system was designed to be vertically oriented in, and we are living now in a world where you actually live life if you have horizontal cross-discipline knowledge. That's entrepreneurship requires you to be cross-disciplined, but the education system is narrow focus. Do you want to be an engineer? Do you want to be a pilot? Do you want to be an accountant? Do you want to be a lawyer? But if you want to be an entrepreneur, guess what? You need your lawyer, your accountant, you need engineers to build stuff, you need human psychology, human discipline, organizational management, human capacity development, process improvement, policies, these. If you're working with government now, you need to understand that. So the organization of the education system was narrow, vertical, and you were asked to pick the now, because the companies, the industries want you to have depth of skill, depth of competency in a domain, and this was also to match the organization of the companies, right? Accounting department, HR department, procurement department, supply chain. By the way, I have a background in integrated systems for the biggest companies in the world. So this is I used to design the most advanced systems in the world, SAP, German software for the biggest brands in the world. We would do the internal processes for the entire company, real estate, all of those things. So that's where I'm coming from. So when I designed the school for entrepreneurs, it's a miniature version of what I used to do for the biggest brands in the world. Is that if you're going to build a business, we can accelerate it by understanding this discipline of the functional areas, what we call functional areas of a company. This, how it all integrates together. And it's like flying a plane as a pilot. Okay. I'm not going too much into that today. My school, Toyin Academy, offers, right, the most advanced training program for entrepreneurs in the world. I also do projects for United Nations. So this is world class. So vertical. Knowledge vertical. That's what people graduate with. Oh, now I have this BSc, this. Listen, my first degree mathematics, second degree from. Listen, I have a bunch of degrees. My husband is a professor. I teach at business school. So when it comes to accomplishment through the lens of the traditional education system, listen, I have my own accolades. I can say, oh, I graduated top of my class. I get it. But you see, for you to build wealth, for you to increase the quality of your own life. I'm not talking about getting a job, because the entire school for the first 20 years, you invested your first 20 years getting that degree. I'm talking about quality of your life, quality of life, your relationships, the things that really matter to living a well life, a prosperous life. That stuff was not in the academia. I always say education is packaged knowledge. Education is packaged knowledge. And because I work with government, trust me, what you were taught in school was regulated. Somebody, right, boards of universities sat around to decide what they are going to teach you and how long they are going to take to teach you and your curriculum. My late father was part of establishing 2 universities. So I've seen this happen. I lived it. I don't talk about things I don't know, guys. I don't. I'll stay away. Right? In my own home, my late father, 2 universities started from scratch. Top universities. My husband is a university professor, chemistry professor. I teach at business schools. Okay? So I'm telling you that the academia, the world of academics, right, is lagging behind because it was designed for narrow skills. But now, here we are post-COVID. Worlds have been thrown apart. We're all trying to patch ourselves together. This is when you start seeing the gaps. That you might have IQ, you might have a job, but trust me, it doesn't translate to, are your relationships well? Do you have, are you able to pursue the lives you want? Are you able to manifest and create? Have you been nurtured to manifest, right? Ideas that originate from you. No. This is what holds us, right? Is that packaged knowledge is domain by domain. Domain by domain. If the consciousness you have is architecture, you have competency. The more years you spend in architecture, your competency increases. If you're a psych major, boom, 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 boom. right? Your competency increases the more longer you stay in that domain. You're an accountant, the same, engineer, right? So we were designed to gain competency in technical domains, but there are other domains that will help you live a better life. And there are 4 areas for the human development: your spiritual growth, emotional growth, intellectual growth, physical well-being. What food to eat, sleeping, right? Your own mind, nurturing of the mind. Today, there are all kinds of scenarios because we are living in a world where people are exposing their mind to chaotic thoughts, ideas, assertions. And now, are people well emotionally? Mental health. Okay? Emotions. When it comes to dealing with other human beings, dealing with yourself and working with people, whether you can marry people, relational issues, who is grieving your heart, tormenting your heart. Listen, you can have money in the bank, but when you put your head on the pillow at night, are you well? You can have a beautiful job, but are you content? Are you happy? This is the conversation of today. This is the conversation we need to be having, because the skills for building the life you love, it goes beyond the domain of how the traditional education system was designed. The classes on emotional intelligence, EQ, the 7 classes, listen, I go seriously deep. Emotions and feelings, right? How you arrive at consciousness. Choose what you're thinking again, because your well-being, your happiness, your peace is dependent on that skill. And guess what? Your creativity and productivity comes out of your well-being. People who are not rested emotionally cannot create, cannot build wealth. That's a requirement, by the way, because the wealth you first have to nurture is the one inside you, not externally. In manifestation, you are the wealth. You are the wealth. Your thoughts, your ideas. Listen, that's where the wealth is. You have to nurture your own ideas. Every business is built on ideas that are nurtured. You just sleep, you daydream, you see yourself doing big things, you wake up, can you manifest it? All the idea, everything you can see, you can touch, man-made, started in somebody's imagination. Technology, everything you can touch, everything that God, beyond God's creation, because we are co-creators. He allowed us to be creating in his universe. The pen, the paper, the computer, the mic, everything we are using right now started in somebody's heart as an idea, in somebody's mind as an idea. Microsoft, all these companies, 500, Fortune 500, every founder story is a story of somebody who had an idea, because ideas are divine gifts. People throw it away, and I'm saying, listen, you are throwing your wealth away. So the school system did not teach anybody to nurture their heart, because your heart must be planted with that idea, and you must mix it with belief. All things are possible to them that believes. So every wealth you want to create starts from the heart of man, inside you, in the metaphysical side of you, before it ever shows up in reality. So if your heart chokes it out, your mind tells you, you can't do this, you can't do that, you don't do. You've before the race even started, it's like carrying a baby. You've already finished. That's the challenge. So when I start saying expand your consciousness and competency, I'm not just talking about the traditional vertical system of the education system. I'm talking about horizontal knowledge across disciplines: psychology, human behavior, right? Emotional intelligence. You're going to need to borrow. You are going to need to learn, because you string it all together for you to manifest. You have to learn more than you know. So you can no longer. So this is not the time you can ever tell me, oh, I have this degree and degree. That degree is limited in what it can unlock for people in reality. The best thing it can do for you is to get you a job in that domain. You can become vice president of accounting. You can become engineer this. Listen, you will attain the highest level of excellence within the competency that you've developed. There's no barrier in there. There's no barrier there. Whatever degree you've invested in, remember, you invested 5 years to get that degree. So you better be proud of it. So because of that investment and competency, it will open the door in that domain. You can put it on your resume, you can submit. And when they take a look, oh, BSc, this, woo, masters, this, respect. You gain respect. You gain respect because you've dedicated yourself to your profession and you've gained competency that is marketable. Fantastic. The day you want to start operating beyond your competency level and your area of consciousness, you don't know what you don't know. And then there's this phenomenon where we talk about unconscious incompetence. Most people start out with not knowing what they don't know. Unconsciously, you don't know you are incompetent in a domain. Okay? Then if you suddenly get activated, now you know you don't know. Most people don't know they don't know. But the moment you wake up and say, oh, I don't know, and you acknowledge, that's why I say open minds. Many people's minds are closed. When a mind is closed, you are unconsciously incompetent. You don't know you don't know. You are living in an echo chamber and you think you know. Fantastic. But listen, this universe doesn't, this universe is it's like you are swimming. Listen, you can be swimming in it, just see rivers of knowledge. But the way it is today is that when that water comes into your house, you open a tap, you collect a cup of water. That's your own decision. Is that you are collecting a tap of water doesn't mean there aren't rivers and oceans of water in the world. Right? What you bring into your house, what you bring into yourself, when we say knowledge is power, is that knowledge is like a tap that gives you access to, right, consciousness. If all you are doing is opening a cup every day and drinking a cup, that's now what you ingest. That's what benefits your life. It doesn't mean we don't have oceans and oceans of consciousness in the universe. Aerodynamics, physics, the quantum, right, space, all kinds of intelligence. But if you don't bring that into your own mind, if you don't open the tap and drink of it and nurture yourself, it's like if you don't install that capacity within yourself, you cannot use it. You cannot. So unconscious incompetence is where people start from. That's ignorance. Now you are waking and you're like, oh, I don't know business. Oh, I don't know what branding is now. Okay? There's incompetence, but at least you're conscious that you're incompetent. Right? Now you know you don't know. Now you know you don't know. Most people don't know, they don't know. Now, if you start pursuing, now that you're like, oh, you're humbled enough to say, I don't know and I want to know. You now start going in search on expanding your consciousness and like knowing more and being able to do more. Let me just summarize that. You want to know more, do more. Know more, do more. You know more, develop skills, you can do more. You can know more and not be able to do more. Many people can open consciousness. They've read books. They've read books about fishing. They've read 100 books about fishing. They've enlightened their mind about the concept of fishing. But if you don't show up to the stream to practice and train your body to perform, you still don't have competency. You can have awareness and zero competency. You don't know how to string the string. You don't know how to catch a fish. Business is the same. You read 100 books on business, but competency. Okay? So now you are aware, you're conscious, you're incompetent. Now you go on that journey. I'm learning. All of a sudden, you become more competent. Now you're knowing, oh, I now know how to drive a car. Oh, I'm learning. I now know. Now I can do. I'm performing better. Now you go into another zone of you now have competence, right? And you know you have competence. You're conscious that you know. Now you can drive a car. But there is another one where you now unconsciously, this is where the programming goes into the subconscious. The longer when you're a beginner at driving, now you know how to drive a car, but your mind still has to pay greater attention to driving because you're so new. But you drive for 5 years, listen, unconsciously, the way you'll be driving will be smooth. Right? Now you're not even thinking about driving, you're just driving. Your body takes over, autopilot. Now you're not even conscious that you are competent. It just becomes part of you. Right? Now you're an expert and you don't even think about it. This is when you get into a mode where people give you credit for your work, and you're like, that's not a big deal. That's so easy. Oh, you're competent, but you don't even put a value. But the day when you were starting that journey, listen, it was a lot of pain. Right? So Steph Curry now in the basketball world, that guy will just take a ball. Pew! We'll be clapping. Steph. That guy can be sleeping, close his eye, take a ball, flip it, drop it. We'll be like, Steph, he will go to a corner, just flip the ball, ping, Steph. That's what we do to the masters. They can, in their sleep, they are playing basketball. They are dreaming. They are dreaming. If you're a boxer, guess what? You are boxing. You are boxing shadows in your dream. So unconsciously, your competence is in your programming, your DNA. Like, listen, you can cook. You are a chef. You are a master chef. You see, you are the best. Without even thinking, they call you to be a speaker. You speak fluently without thinking. You are performing. But most people don't get there. Most people don't get there. But competency, the mind, the body can expand. Consciousness can grow competency, but there's a discipline where the self has to take executive function and train the body on how to perform. It's a process, and this is what we ought to be pursuing, not consuming content. This is the discipline that nurtures greatness, because there's nobody God called to be great. Listen, you will perform at higher levels. David, you will kill Goliath. Gideon, you will do this. Samson, you will demonstrate great competency. Listen, you will demonstrate great competency for you to enter some domains in this reality. At the highest levels, we want people with great competency. We don't like incompetent people. They make a mess. They leave a mess in their trail. Right? Ignorance and incompetence is dangerous to like, kings, anybody who rules nations, cities, companies, anybody that wants great results in this life is always in search of the best people to surround themselves with in great advice, right? So when people are incompetent, when they are ignorant, when they are unconscious, they exclude themselves from the best things in life naturally, because the door is closed to incompetency, ignorance, and people that are unconscious, people that are not self-aware. They are reckless. They do anything, say anything, and they think there are no consequences. The biggest consequence is you don't enter the corridors of power. You are not trained to handle sensitive matters, important matters, because people are erratic and they misbehave. So guess what? Life turns it back at people who refuse to learn, because you are swimming in a sea of consciousness. You are just deciding to have a closed mind. And so life rewards people at their level of competence, right? Consciousness and dedication to delivery of real results. Life gives you who you are, So who you become is what opens the doors of your next level. People say, oh, breakthrough, next level. I'm saying, are you pursuing your next level of growth? If you are not, life is waiting. Even God will say, I'm searching the hearts of men to see who I can be gracious to. God is waiting for people who has their heart in him. Listen, God doesn't hold anything back from you, but he will not give you anything you are not prepared for. He wouldn't. Because people make a mess of it. Saul, he crowned Saul. But when Saul started misbehaving, because there are protocols in certain offices. When people don't follow protocol, Saul, because he thought he was a king, he thought he could start doing the work of a prophet. Listen, he was demoted immediately. Because people who don't follow protocol, who don't respect order, nobody keeps them. God doesn't keep people there. Doesn't. Read your Bible again. He doesn't. He doesn't keep people in high powers or high positions of power. So I'm just challenging us to be more aware. Welcome to the stage, RJ Cooper. It's been a long. I don't think we've spoken this year, but I've seen you in different spaces. Ty, do you have any reactions before I move on to RJ Cooper?
No, thank you. I'll yield to RJ. Thank you.
Okay. RJ, Mr. RJ, how have you been?
Very busy, coach, trying to get to the next level. And again, we see in these spaces, and I think we're moving, and things are getting busy now. So again, this topic is where I'm listening, and I appreciate you because normally I think to hear things like this, normally we would have to pay for a conference or get an audience and contribute. But I'm here in Florida right now, getting ready to head to meet my wife. I don't know if since we've talked. I went to the next level. We got married for
I
the
know.
last
Yeah.
9 months now.
Wow,
Yeah,
that must
and
go.
yeah, so really, I'm listening to this quantum because quantum leap, because literally, as we speak, I was thinking about what you're saying. Here we both are. She has her PhD. I've been retired from the military. We both are receiving Social Security, and we're just not. I want to say we're not complete, and we're
Wow,
still
wow, wow.
leveling up to do some things for the community. And then our ultimate goal, coach, is to be over in Africa and bridging the gap. So, great topic. Great to be here, and I'll keep my
Can
mic.
I, may I help you rephrase that comment? I think you're complete. So part of the at the quantum layer too, we have to words create meaning, old meaning and create reality. So part of what I do for my clients and students is once we know the power of our words, our thoughts, we have to choose them. In one of my classes, the EQ class, I actually train people to start creating stories for prosperity because the stories we embody is the one that we manufacture. You are writing your own script and you are the actor, you are the script writer, you're the producer of your own reality. So how do we leverage that power, that the creative power of our thoughts and words to make sure that in we're thinking in the way we ought to think to create the life we want. So is it okay if I help you um find a different way of rephrasing? Because I think I can hear your heart. Can I do that? Oh, we're losing. RJ, can you try again the internet connection? I bet you're trying to. Okay, RJ, we didn't get what you were saying, but you can type. Are you able to type in the chat? Right. So when you say you're not complete, so we are complete, right? We are complete, but we may not be aligned. So I'm just giving a different perspective. We are all complete, but we may need alignment. And
I have. Can you hear me now?
you're going in and out. Go on.
Oh, real quick. The reason why I say I'm not, even though because entire stuff are real.
RJ, sorry, I don't know what's going on. Do you want to type? Please just type briefly what you wanted to say. It might be a sentence or two, and then I'll read it out. We can't pick out. I know you're trying to communicate, but please. Or if you're driving, I know you can't type then. Sorry. But let me just, even for other people, let me share this. It's going to be very important. When I talk about alignment, spiritual alignment, soul alignment, is that when our mind and body has muscle memory about performance in a specific dimension. You've been a doctor for 20, 30, 40 years. There is muscle memory. There is competency. And the mind has been programmed to fully perform in that realm. Okay. What usually happens is we may need a new form of alignment because the mind and body has been used to generate specific results. And when you now want your mind and your body to generate new results, this is where that new alignment comes in. Oh, you say you are driving. Okay, no problem. Let me share this. And then offline, we can talk some more. So we are complete, but we may not be aligned. That's a phrase I want people to think deeply about, is that the mind, let's say you've learned how to drive a car. Okay? Your mind and body has muscle memory and can drive a car. If you now want to fly a plane, or you want to drive a different type of car, the competency will be built on top of an existing knowledge and skill base But there's a gap. You have to expand consciousness. You have to learn newer things still in that domain. And you have to expand your skill to be able to handle. You need more dexterity to do more. That journey means we have to align our heart behind the future, and then we have to bring the mind along and train the mind again. But if you're not ready to train your mind, but you now ask your mind to perform at a level it was not trained to perform, this yields a lot of emotional dysregulation. This is the birthplace for a lot of stress, a lot of confusion, a lot of unfulfillment. Is that your mind, when it is trained, can do what it is trained for. If you don't train your mind and you're tasking it to perform at levels beyond its competency, the mind will be stretched, will be in pain, will be confused, will not know what to do because it hasn't been fed the knowledge. That thinking, that process where the mind is struggling, it leads, because I've taught this before and I'll keep reminding people on this one. Your mind listens to your thoughts, takes it as instruction, processes it. The mind is the information processing system of the body, the metaphysical. It uses the brain and your body to store information. The central nervous system has information stored in your body. That's why you know how to eat food. As a baby, the baby will be sloppy as he's learning how to use dexterity, how to use spoon. But once you learn how to use spoon, the memory of how to use a spoon is in your body. So your nerves learn, train. People don't get this. It's not just, memory is not just of the mind. Body also keeps memory. If you know how to run, the body knows how to run. If you know how to jump, the body knows how to jump. If you know how to throw a basketball, there's memory in skills. Is that your body, your hands can gain memory on how to perform, how to, hold a fork and a knife, how to cook. Is that there's memory both in your body and your mind. Okay, I just want people to know that. So let's say your mind and your body has memory of how to perform a task, and now you're asking it to perform another task that it doesn't have memory, it doesn't have knowledge, it doesn't have skill for. See, the information processing system takes in information, input, process, output. It takes in thoughts, instruction, words, right? Your mind is listening to your thoughts as instruction. It obeys you. It processes it. That's another function. I go deeper in the EQ class. You need to take that class at toyin.academy. Processes it. The first output of the mind, one of the first outputs is it takes energy and creates a chemical reaction in the body. It is a clue to what's going on in your mind. You will experience in your body what is going on in the mind. Because without this experience, you don't know what's in your mind. This is what gives birth to emotions of joy, fulfillment, happiness, and all the negative emotions as well. It's a dashboard. Because how else would you know what's in your mind if you cannot experience it, if you cannot, the sensation. The sensation, start seeing the sensations in your body as the dashboard of your car. Wah, 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 warning sign, you're angry, you're about to do something destructive. Wah, 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 wah. Okay. You are worrying, you have anxiety, you don't know what the future holds. You don't like what you're seeing. You're afraid, you're scared. There's a thought in your system. It's a warning sign. Now, when you're happy, you're like, let's celebrate. Everything looks good here. Okay? Your mind is telling you everything looks good here. You can be joyful, you can dance, you can sing, you can enjoy life. We have it covered. When your mind has you covered, you'll be happy. When your mind doesn't have you covered, it will be sending you chemical reactions, dosing you, trying to wake you up. Something is wrong. You're believing the wrong story. We can't move forward. You are too hungry. You are too upset. Da 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 da. Change your mind. Your mind is trying to wake you up so that you can clean up. It's a warning. When everything is covered, the mind will say, go to sleep. I got you. You'll be happy. You'll be fulfilled. You'll be flowing. You'll be in your flow. You'll be performing. Right? When you've not got in there, your mind will not let you sleep. I'm just telling you guys, listen, this thing is deep. Your mind will not let you rest. It's trying to get you to resolve the gap. Something you don't like has happened. You've processed something. This is where trauma triggers all these things live in. You saw something you don't like and you've not cleaned it from your system. I always tell people, listen, you are made up of all kinds of systems. Your digestive system, not everything you eat, not everything you open your mouth to consume is good for you. Your system knows that. You don't know that. You're just eating. And you're flushing it out. You're drinking water. But the system, the digestive system, the way God designed it, that system is designed to filter out useful and useless stuff. Useful stuff, it takes it into your cell, metabolizes, does its thing. Useless stuff, it has a way of getting it out of your system. You see, mental health is developing the skill of also filtering out useless stuff and useful stuff. When you sleep at night, your mind is trying to do this. But if you've not fed your mind the good things, that's why I say we are living at a time you have to be careful where you're sticking your head into. Because this is what is creating confusion, anger, doubt, fears, anxiety. Thoughts you are permitting into your system. And your mind doesn't know what to do with those thoughts. So it starts warning you, anxiety. We don't know what to do. We don't know where to go. The images you are showing us right now, this is not what you want. What do you want? It's trying to get you to clean up. And one of the ways of cleaning up, when I talk about self-therapy in my school, journaling, speaking. That's why you go to a therapist, you have to get the thoughts out so that you can capture the ones you need to delete and say, whoa. Why are you thinking like that? Where did these thoughts come from? That's not me. Some people say, oh, you're imposter. Which kind of imposter? You have to be counseling. Excuse me, instead of, you don't build your identity on this crazy thinking. Is it too much? Let me bring myself down. Let me just leave it that way. I'm not going to talk to you as if you're my student. You know, that's one of the things. Before I held this session, I said, I want to be nice. I want to be nice now. I don't want to. I want to.
It's a little late, coach. I feel like we're in a master class.
No. Before I started, listen, I took a pen. I started writing what I would do and what I would not do. I said, Toyin, I hold no judgment. It's not my job to correct anybody. I'm telling you, I'm being trans. This is how I talk to myself. I train myself. Just like I'm saying, train yourself. As I told you, leave people alone. They won't like it if you call out what they are doing wrong. So leave them. Be nice. Instead, maybe you just point them and say, oh, this is what you could be doing right, oh. But if you like, change. If you like, don't change. But I don't want you to be upset with me. I don't want to be the bearer of shocking news. I wrote it down today. I was trying to tell myself, Toyin, be nice, oh, be nice to people. Don't talk to, they're not your students. Your student has paid you to tell them the truth and shine the light. I wrote several things today. I was trying to, I don't want to be the one shocking people, you see.
Well, you have to understand, again, I don't mean to start. You are always good at what you do and you're consistent. And I don't know, today is the Easter weekend, but I just came in and I'm like, I get to come in and get some free, valuable information. And again, I was like, this is a master class for those that don't know if we're paying attention. So I don't perceive it as a student, but we are here to learn.
Yeah.
And if we are a conscious coach, if we are conscious in the things you say, it's an opportunity for us to get something for free. And that's how I look at it.
So and trust me, the main thing is the main message that I have for the world is that we need to transform into higher levels of consciousness so that we can live an elevated life. Trust me, People are staying at a certain level and trying to get the best things out of life. And I'm trying to tell people, God will never hold anything back from us. He will never. But He's calling us higher. He's calling us to do better. He's calling us to be kinder. He's calling us to be more generous. He's calling us to be careful what we're thinking, what we're doing, how we are contributing to His reality. He wants us to contribute positively. He wants us to be nice. He wants us to be generous. So that message of discipline and right is that there has to be a spiritual revival for prosperity to God's way. By the way, God's type of prosperity is that there has to be a spiritual awakening in consciousness, and that consciousness also starts with, who am I? Right? Self-discovery. What do I want out of life? And then we have to align ourselves to everything, and so that we are not saying we want this and then we are doing that. And then we are saying we want this, but we are doing that. Is that our behavior, thoughts, opinions, actions has to align with what is in our heart. So how do we bring ourselves back? That's what the EQ classes do. There are 7 classes in the bundle, right? And the community resource is like, how do we bring our heart and mind back together? Because we've been divided. Life told us we should go into survival mode. So we outsource our mind into survival. But now our heart wants more than survival. So we have to reconcile the difference, because the thoughts in your spirit, in your heart, in your mind, and in your body, they have to be the same. If you are not emotionally aligned and your mind is not backing your thoughts or is fighting it, you want to go forward, your mind is like, no, no, no. We have to do that cleanup. And when we do that inner work in my school, then we will see it's like blue skies. You see possibility. The sky will open and you can pursue more. Let me see, there's a comment. Absolutely. I really feel that our education leaves cross-functional learning to organizations to deal with in the future. Recently, a number of courses were included in curriculum, not in depth. Yes, and I've worked in corporate. I sit on a board and all of those things. We've entered a moment in reality where you can no longer outsource your well-being to a system, any form of system. Because all the systems, as you know it, they are crumbling and they have to be rebuilt. The system that supported the past, we all are seeing it, is not designed to support where the world is going. Currencies are changing, right? Healthcare, right? Healthcare was designed around physical organs of the body. What I'm talking about today and what I teach in EQ, what will actually give you peace of mind, that will reduce diseases. People don't understand that emotion creates a lot of what I call internal combustion. You are hot. That's why one of the practices of self-therapy is breathing. It's like the cooling system of the body is the breath. You have to breathe, right? Anytime emotions hijack your body, there's a lot of flow, because emotions are released to give energy to the body to do work. So if you get angry or you're upset, it's like being in the jungle. The mind thinks you are running, somebody is chasing you. When you say you're afraid, the mind thinks you're running out of something. You're not running away. So it will give you dose of serious adrenaline. Your heart will start pumping, right? Your body will start reacting as if you're in a jungle running away from a lion. You see all of that stuff staying in you. The only way you get rid of that emotion is to run, is to go and exercise. Or you have to cool yourself down. You have to actually calm your body, like, no, we're not in a jungle. No, we're not running. No, there's nothing chasing you. Just the imagination of fear, something you don't like. You scared yourself with your own thoughts. You're not in a jungle. There's no real fear. But trust me, the mind is designed that whatever you think is as real is real. Whether it's real or not, it is real. You manifest fear if you think fear. So when those hormones, sensations, they are released so that you can have the energy to run. It shuts down certain organs. It prepares you to run. It gives all the energy so that you run. And now you are sitting down at a desk. You were afraid because a boss ran in. You opened an email. What gave you heart palpitation was just an email from somebody you did not want to upset. How would you get rid? When those things compound, they lead to a lot of inflammation in the body, and many diseases come out of emotional dysregulation. So the healthcare is at the last mile of wellness. They are trying to fix things that they could have corrected if they taught you emotional intelligence. Listen, now I'm teaching my kids. I cannot be teaching people in my school and not teach my kids. My young kids, emotions and feelings. Listen, I'm teaching them to regulate themselves because, listen, our well-being and longevity, if we had known these things, people would live longer. But the healthcare is designed to be at the last mile, catching diseases when they've just gotten out of hand. But the birthplace of a lot of, now there's genetic stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying the one that is lifestyle, right? The one that is lifestyle, right, is that you can actually improve your overall well-being by creating peace in your heart and not being agitated by external circumstances you have zero control over. There are 7 classes in my school. Everybody in the world needs to take those classes because it's a game changer. And the reason I taught that class is as a foundation that many people have been giving wealth ideas, but their heart is here, is there. What will people say? They don't have this, right? You have to quiet that thing first. A double-minded person cannot receive anything from God. Parable of the sower, the potent and right idea God is giving you. If your heart is hardened, you're not forgiven, your heart is broken, and these are real stuff. These are real stuff. They mess with all the other stuff we want to do. Right? So emotional wellness now is what is most expensive. And that's what we ought to be like. If you fix that, these are skills of thinking what you're thinking again. Right? Gaining executive function over your own mind. Right? Because, oh my gosh, let me share this then. Maybe I'll wrap up. There's a lot. You can tell that there's everything that, listen, I have a whole school, not one course, one class. My school, enroll in my school. It will change your life forever. You see, the other day I posted something and I said, post-colonial Africa, post-slavery America, African Americans. This is based on my observation study, right? Listen, when I speak tenderly out of a tender heart of love. And I'm calling this thing out, not out of judgment, but out of healing. Post-colonial Africa, post-slavery African Americans, there's something we share in common. You see, generations ago, and these things are passed down, okay? The trauma of people's mind and body being hijacked to perform without agency, the loss of agency, right? The loss of agency. RJ, do you want to say something before I go on? Or should I help you mic up?
I'm sorry. I mean, can you do and I didn't. Can you explain? And this is again, I'm hearing the term agency now. Can you explain
agency? Okay.
What does the term?
Okay. I'll connect the dots. So thank you for bringing that. I hope I didn't close anything out here. I hope I didn't. Okay, we're still good. Okay, agency. I'll finish my thought process, then I'll come back to agency because this is important, and I think we'll wrap up there. Post-colonial Africa, post-slavery African Americans, and every other region where that faced it. This is the heart. This is my heart. Okay, is that there's the spirit of a man, there's the heart of a man, there's the mind of a man, there's the body of a man. God gave your soul, your body and mind for you to use for your own will. In fact, God will never override your will. Even the most important thing about giving your life to Christ is an offer. I put before you life and death. But the will of man has been abused. When a human body and a mind is hijacked against the will of that man and put to use by the slave driver, against your will and against your spirit. That's the splitting. What has emerged is split personality. It's part of the trauma that has been passed down generationally. Spirit of man, heart of man, mind of man, the heart and the mind. From a scriptural standpoint, I have classes on this. If you want to see what the Bible says about what is given to the soul, the spirit is the side of God invested in us. You are a soul with a body. The soul has the heart and the mind. The heart is the resource center, the energy function where desire, hopes, dreams, aspirations live in. The mind is where performance, thoughts, right? Execution. This is where the metaphysical side of you, through your nervous system, is that the spirit and the physical realm collide. They come together through the central nervous system where thoughts are processed and converted into matter in your body, sensations, chemicals. Okay. You see, when that heart and mind are split, when somebody else hijacks your mind, your body, and uses it against your will and your spirit, you be an onlooker in your own life. You don't have agency. You don't have a say. It's like these things also, there's parts of trauma that happens in childhood. If you grew up in a culture that dominated you, just do what I want you to do. They didn't allow you to reason and think and arrive at your own conclusions to your own pleasure. Listen, your mind is to your own pleasure, not another person's pleasure. Nobody owns your mind. Nobody owns your body. Let them use their own mind and body to do whatever they want to do. When somebody hijacks your mind, your body, without your permission, without your will, against your will, it creates a split. Abuse causes all forms of abuse. When things are done to people, people don't recover. It's a damage of the heart. God didn't design it because you are called to perform things that you don't want to perform. You are called to do things you don't want to do. And you actually have a right to resist. But you cannot resist because you're overwhelmed and beaten and broken. And so people then go into survival mode. Because in resisting, you can be killed. In resisting, you can end up. So there's a new rewiring in the mind. The mind is now rewired to respond to the voices of the tormentors, abusers. Because you're afraid that if you actually do what you want to do, there are consequences of your own agency. Fast forward generations. Guess what? Those who went through that, they passed down stories. DNA has captured a lot of the information of the shock to the system. Many things are passed through the bloodstream as well. Generations after, people are trying to build wealth. But the first wealth you have to build, you have to plug your mind and heart back together. You have to give your mind back to your spirit and heart, because your will needs to be given permission to your mind again. And trust me, there are different layers of this thing. Childhood trauma. If you grow up in a place, I say nature, nurture, culture, whatever they program. If other people programmed your mind not to listen to you, but to be listening to them, you are doing what they want you to do. You're not doing what you want to do. Your mind is sabotaging. You want to turn left, your mind is turning right. Who programmed that? Whose words, thoughts, opinion is your mind listening to and responding to? That's the inner work. So the heart and the mind must come back together. It's like a plug. Because if there's a disconnection and you don't have agency, it's like sitting in the back seat of your own car. Somebody else has hijacked your car. Now they're driving your life. And you've arrived in a place. You're like, how did you get here? The world told you, this is what you should do. Parents told you, this is who you should be. You too, you are telling yourself, you are this. Everything is a lie. That's why I say self-discovery. Now, discover who you are again. So the concept of agency is, do you feel that you are the one controlling your mind and your body. There are different ways of explaining this, but for me, I don't want to be too technical. I want to be practical. I want people to feel what I'm saying. Do you think the thoughts in your mind, you put it there? That your mind is processing thoughts and doing things to your own liking, and that you have a voice and you are saying what's in your mind, how you want to say it. You are expressing yourself, that your mind and your body are your true representatives in the world. That how you're showing up, what you're saying, how you're presenting yourself, how your mind and your body is showing up, standing up, presenting the self, the face, your face to your world, for the world. Your mind and your body is your face to the world. Everything that your mind and your body is doing, is it doing it on your own behalf, or is it doing it on the behalf of making other people happy? Because there's a class I taught, it's available in the 10-week accelerator, the game plan, 12 strategies for winning in life and business. The first strategy, activate the power of clarity. One of the things I did in the PowerPoint is to show people, between you, yourself, if people haven't done this work, and what you are presenting to the world, you may have filtered out your power because of what people told you is acceptable to the world. You may have muted yourself. So in your heart, God may create you as a lioness, a lion. But when the world sees your mind and your body, how you're performing out there, they might mistake you for a cat. You've numbed down, you've brought down, you muted yourself. You are more quiet than you ought to be. You are less powerful in the world than you ought to be. You are less influential than you ought to be. You are less wealthy than you ought to be. Is your mind and your body representing your own interest in reality, in this physical realm? Are you your own agent, negotiating with life what you want for your heart? Or is your mind negotiating on behalf of what will program the people who programmed you? And this thing has there's a spectrum of it. It could go from, you are 40, yet you are doing things to please your parents and denying yourself because you were programmed in childhood to always say yes, yes, yes to them. And you forgot to deprogram yourself, that as an adult, you ought to be your own agent. That's just one dimension. But there's a whole spectrum of it. There's a whole. That's what I just shared is just a little one. Okay, you're always trying to please them. I don't want them to be angry with me. I just want to say yes to them. The day you say no, fire comes out of their nostrils. Oh, how dare you say no? Da, 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 da. The way when you're a child, they will bring whipping. They might whip you. But now they are whipping your mind. So your mind is tormented. And when you see their phone number, you're like, oh, what am I going to say? What am I going to... That's just the little one. But now expound it into other matters. When the mind has been programmed and hijacked to be working to please other people, but you're not pleased, you are not happy. Why are you not happy? Why are you not happy? Why are you not content? Why are you not fulfilled? Why are you not joyful? Ask those questions. Because you are supposed to be happy. God wants you to be happy. The fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, self-control. Self-control. Control of the self. If you cannot control yourself, you've not done this work. Agency, bring yourself back home. And there's a lot of energetic work you have to do. Why? Because your energy could be attached to all kinds of thoughts. All kinds of thoughts. Hey, and those thoughts bubble up again and scare you. Lots of work. So there's work around generational trauma, stories passed down that has caged people. Blacks don't do this, blacks don't do this. It's very serious stuff. There's also family dynamics. There's also cultural dynamics. Your culture says you should always jump up and say attention to certain people. You should not look them in the eye. You should not tell them your truth. But they can disrespect you. They can dishonor you. They can pull you down. They can say anything. And you've been programmed to accept nonsense, and you're accepting it. Being your agency is going to be, Jesus saying, who is my brother and sister? No. I have my father's work here. I get it. When God gives you an assignment, there are some things you will deny. Gideon, tear down your father's idol. Abraham, separate from Lot. Ah, Moses, there's always a new calling. Saul become Paul. There's an encounter because Saul in the Bible was using his mind and his body to be performing the same passion. He was passionately destructive. God called him and said, you see that passion, that mind and your body, I have use of it. I have use of it. You will use that energy, right? For the New Testament church. Instead of using his mind and his body, the thoughts in his mind was saying he was doing the work of God. He was at the feet of, at his feet, they dropped the clothes. People who were stoning Stephen, and he thought he was doing the right thing. His mind and body was hijacked. God will say, come. You see, that mind, that beautiful mind, that beautiful body, the energy I gave you, it's not for that nonsense. Come and work for me. So God is recruiting people. But as he's recruiting you, he's saying, bring your mind and body along. God will be speaking in your heart. I need you. When you have a calling on your life, he will tell you, bring your mind and body along because they will manifest. And trust me, for those who are spiritual, right, Christian, it's that same mind and body. Joyce Meyer will say, battlefield of the mind. It's not just God trying to gain your mind back. You see, the enemy is also trying to do the same. Whoever wins those battles, that's why you will be saying, this. And Bible will say, don't be anxious for anything. But in everything, through prayer and supplication, make a request known. God is asking you, tell me what you want. Why are you afraid? Angels will tell you in the Bible, don't be afraid, don't be afraid, don't be afraid, don't. Yet, that's the biggest thing. So this is deep. And I'm going to wrap up here. It's so deep. It's so deep. RJ Cooper, yeah, parting words. Kobola guy, greetings. Listen, I can feel people saying, Toyin, share more, but I'm trying to pull up. I feel like I've shared too much already. I'm just like, are people ready for this stuff?
You have shared a lot in a short period of time, and you've answered my question number one. Number two, I understand why you said, with your explanation over the last 5 minutes, of I am complete, but we are in alignment, and I 100% totally agree. And then where my agency now, why I said I'm leveling up, because when we are in this place, for me, I say for me, where I am literally enjoying the fruits of my labor. I've been blessed so long ago, 1980, the Spirit, and understand everything you said. It's how I've been living since 1980. I can say that. So where I am now, when you talk about the agency, where I am now is the alignment of the universe. I appreciate that because I'm aligning myself with other people that I may not have understood, but timing is everything. And those other people is my wife. She and I are definitely learning. She's learning some things, and you spoke on being able to do what you want to do, and because people had hijacked her. Again, she's got that PhD. You said it doesn't mean anything. She's been teaching, and she's been doing for her mom. Her mom is 90 years young, and she's still going through that syndrome, through what you say. And so what I was sharing with her, Coach, this is why I say you teach a master class. I was just telling her over the last 3 years I've known her, you've got to take control of your mind. You cannot be like a kid, even when you're in the presence of your mother, who is 90 years old, and you're taking care of her. But I just wanted to thank you again. I always come to learn. And this was, I wish the replays were on so I could. Oh, didn't I?
It's on. It's on. The replay's on and on YouTube. It's on. Listen, these things, I always touch. This is why I'm trying to be gentle. I really am working really, really hard to be gentle because these are.
Don't tough love, Coach. I want to stop you if I can. You have been, and this is what I will say since I've followed you for 4 years now. The first 2 years I've known you, then I would probably have asked, Coach, could you be a little more gentle? Tough love, you were technical. I can say this, you were technical and you were tough and you were no nonsense. Now I feel this heart, I feel this love, I feel this your spirituality. I wouldn't ask you to change a thing. Any more gentle and then we're not going to take you serious, in my opinion. I think you're just fine. Coach.
Yeah, and those 2 years, and it's good that you pointed that out. And Kobala guy, I see that she can testify. My school, the first couple of years, we the programs, the 10-week accelerator was developed, and that's hardcore technical business stuff. Listen, I served as a strategist for Fortune 1. That stuff is hardcore. So I brought the world-class business training, branding, marketing. Like, it took a year to put it together. And then the following year, I introduced newer programs. And this year now, as we're going on and on, we're bringing, and even yesterday I was speaking to one of my students, and we're just talking about the organization and the design of my school. This is the most advanced training program for entrepreneurs in the world, period. So the technical business training, the 10-week accelerator, listen, is hardcore. That stuff is there. What I've been adding on is the human development side, because if people give you a Ferrari and you wreck yourself in a Ferrari, you can wreck yourself in a Ferrari. Oh, money, 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 money. Listen, what does it profit a man if he gains this whole earth? But the most powerful side of you is your heart. Your heart. Out of it are the issues of your life. Jesus said, guard your heart. Protect your heart. Everything you're ever going to manifest will come from your heart. You're already manifesting the conditions of your heart. If you're happy, you're experiencing happiness. If you're not happy, your entire experience in this dimension will be a function of the state of your heart. No matter how much money you put in your bank account, no matter how much wealth you acquire, you see, this heart, people die for it. The peace I'm talking about is so expensive, Jesus died for it. I give you my peace, not as the world gives you. The peace that surpasses all understanding is tied to spiritual practices. You don't get it by consuming content, going here, scrolling here. In fact, those things lead to more confusion. The world cannot give you what I'm talking about. It is manufactured in your own being. Peace is an output of a mind that is well and a heart that is that is well. The cooperation of the heart and mind. It shall be well with you. It shall be well with you. I hope above all things that you be well. That's the message. That is the message. You can't buy it with money. You can't buy it with money. So one thing I also know, if you don't bolt down what I just shared and you are pursuing external success, entrepreneurship will scatter you. What I mean by scattering you, your mind, remember consciousness, you have to gather information from different dimensions. That's why I put it all in my school, so that you are not everywhere. You can find everything in my school. What is branding? What is marketing? What is sales? How do you do sales? What is this? What is that? Oh, right? If you don't want yourself to be scattered abroad looking for everything, my school organizes it 10-week accelerator. Just focus, follow. PowerPoints, slides, workbooks, research materials, everything you need A to Z in my school. One place to focus and learn, because there's a lot to learn. 10 subjects. While you're learning that, I also know inside you'll be like grumbling. Let's work on our hearts. Let's work on our relationship, because your real life bleeds into your business life. You do business the way you do life. So this stuff is real, tangible. The people that have gone through it, listen, they will testify. Even my student yesterday was like, Toyin, let's help you spread this message. Let's all, as your students, come out, and our lives are changing. Let's help you. I took notes yesterday. I was like, how do I even do this? Do I tell them to do testimonials videos, or do I bring them on? So I'm processing those. I see Kabbalah Guide too online, one of our early adopters. Toyin number says always tough, no need to change. We wouldn't recognize you anymore. Listen, you people, don't get me into trouble. I'm not getting into trouble. I just know that, listen, part of growth requires pruning. Jesus says, if you're bearing fruit, I will prune you that ye might bear more fruit. So I know that God has done that for me, right? And so everything you want, all things are yours. Listen, the whole earth is yours. Everything. I work with the world leaders. I host them. Bible will say these are men like us. They are men like you, but you have to nurture greatness. You have to nurture yourself, invest in yourself. You have to discipline yourself. And for me, I feel honored, to move into this position of coach and to offer you real, tangible transformation, right? If I'm going to be here, listen, anytime you spend with me, you're going to go back thinking and processing and hopefully shifting to a higher level of dimension. That's why this is meaningful. But if I come, I do what everybody's doing, I make you feel good, you don't change, nothing changes, we come again a year later, nothing change, no improvement. What? Who are we? Like, you're following somebody, they don't challenge you, they don't inspire you, they don't motivate you. They're just saying, like me, we share. And you too, you're investing your energy to propel other people forward instead of propelling your own life. Guys, let's shape up. So thank you so much. It means a lot to me. Check out toyinumesiri.academy. I have my book, Mindset of an Entrepreneur, also available on Amazon. And I know earlier in the week, I was speaking to one of the elders. She's actually a pastor. I was speaking to her. She was like, are you writing more books on this stuff? This stuff is too delicious. Because the EQ class, guys, that stuff's changed the entire game of living. Entire game. You can't find it anywhere else because my trainings, they are original to me. They're original. It changes the game. Changes the game. Because when you understand how your heart was designed, if God could sit by your side and tell you to grab a pen and a paper, and he starts telling you the schematic diagram, the human, when I talk about the human design, when God starts telling you, you see your mind, this is what I designed it to do. You see your heart, this is what I designed it to do. You see the spirit I invested in you, the part of me that is in you. This is the side of you that is unlimited, untouchable, unquenchable, alive and well, right? This is how I give you everything you have. Your heart has to go and collect it from the spirit. Your heart now has to mix it with energy, with desire, with faith. You see, there's nothing God is giving you. If you don't mix it in your heart with faith, your faith will make you whole. God gives you business idea. You don't mix it with your own energy. You don't ruminate. It's like painting. You want to paint a picture, you have to mix the coloring. That's where you do. In your heart is where you cook and produce outcomes of your life. And then your mind, you're supposed to give your mind instruction. You're supposed to direct your mind. But if you don't have agency, if your mind considers other people's words as authority figures, their own words, thoughts, emotions, actions, behavior has greater power over your own mind and body than you, your mind will be tuned. Mind is always tuned to authority figures. The moment you attach yourself to a person, a leader, a church, a person, and you carry them, you godify them, you elevate them above yourself, your mind knows you did that. So your mind will be tuning and listening to them. Even when you want to counter those authority figure, they've programmed your mind to tell your mind to shut up. That's why many people will sit in churches, they will sit in synagogues, they cannot challenge, they cannot call out. They cannot call out the failures of those authority figures. Your mind will say, keep quiet, keep quiet. Hey, if you say this, then that. If you say this. So people are muted because the authority figure has been elevated as the God over your life. People don't understand this spiritual concept. God wants you to remove. That's why Gideon, go and tear down your father's idol. Because the things you were bowing to, the people you were bowing to, the systems you were bowing to, the people you were outsourcing, when God wants to use your mind, he will tell you, delete, 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 delete. See, coming out of COVID was part of those deletion. It broke a lot of the spell that's been cast on people's mind. The people you can't tell the truth, the people you can't look in the eye and say, sir, that thing you said that day, I don't agree. And the people say, how dare you talk to me this way? Those are the people you need to delete. At least make sure they don't have the passcode to your mind. Guys, I want to go, but this one is important. Don't give access code to your mind, to figures. God is the one you should be giving as the Spirit of God. Holy Spirit needs his own code that overrides every other thought. If you don't do this thing I'm saying, people will still be fighting imagination, strongholds, words spoken over you by authority figures. And you are the authority over you and Holy Spirit are supposed to be the authority. You need to be speaking. Guys, okay. I'm trying to tell somebody. The reason you're not achieving breakthrough results, the reason you feel limited, caged, you can't move forward, is that somebody else programmed failure, doubt, fears into your systems. Tear those things down. Tear those things down. Tear them down. Anything that makes you fear, anybody that makes you afraid, makes you doubt your own confidence. You go to them, God gave me this idea. God told me to do this. And they're like, those who discount you. You see, I wrote something the other day. Was it this morning or yesterday? I said, don't be taking your chickens to the fox house to keep. Don't be taking your ideas, dreams, life, your being, your life, your wellness, your being. Guard your heart, renew your mind. Don't be physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually invested in places that are there to torment you. People know this. You are in a place that since you got there, you've not been advancing. God has been trying to tell you, get up and carry your load. You're like, but they were nice to me. But you see, God can use Egypt to nurture children of Israel. The day he says, children of Israel, come and serve me. And Egypt is saying this. Listen, this one is for somebody. I don't know who it is for. Egypt will come down. When God is ready to release his people into their promised land, anybody that stands in the way of what God is doing, that person is gone. That word is for somebody. Because God is at a place right now. He's not going to accept it. Look around you. So many things has been happening this year. Can you see the outing of authority figures? Can you see what's happening on social media, on the internet? People that were elevated, godified, they are being exposed. It's a clue that God is saying, you are believing these people, you are following these people, yet I'm speaking to you, you're not listening to me, you're not following. You think this is the year God doesn't want any competition anymore. He wants oneness, because the journey he wants to take you on, he wants to take us on. You cannot be doubting. You cannot be, what will this person say? God is not, it's no longer acceptable. Maybe it was acceptable 3 years ago. Please be sensitive to this. When God says move forward and you start saying, doubt of the past, let me go ask my pastor. Hey, what does my pastor say? What will my pastor say? Let him approve me to marry this person, to start this business, to buy this house, to get this job, to apply. My pastor must. Emotional maturity, spiritual maturity. Listen, God is calling everybody to grow up now. He wants to be the Lord over your life. Ask him in your quiet room on your bed. Be talking to God. Should I do this? He will tell you. If you ask him, anybody that is lacking wisdom, he says, ask of me. LJ, we've landed. I think this is where we needed to land. I can see it. Yes.
It's an amazing masterclass. I'm gonna say this, Coach, and I always can be consistent because it's been over 4 years now. You think? Or people say 3. I talked to a networker, and she says we've known Africans for 3. I think we're close to 4. And you have been consistent, and I think I appreciate your submission and explanation, because again, I know beginning you were more technical, more hardcore, as you say, and I can honestly say I wasn't ready, so I kept quiet. So I said I was not going to say intimidated, but I realized you were very impactful, and the last 2 years you have been, and I guess what I said, you have been, or I felt spiritual. I still feel the technical and the intentionality, and I'm glad the replays are on, as well as I've connected with you to be able to go back from A to Z to grab all of the things you have put out in your book, in your workshops, because now, what you said, we are being impacted. We need to be in alignment, and there are so many people that are lost. The consciousness is what you're saying, and my thing is, how do we wake them up if they want to be fed? And that is the challenge. But I thank you for still being here to give us enough information to use. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And when I say quantum leap, right, this is I feel it's a message for our generation. Is that, in the Bible there was a generation that didn't enter the promised land, but when the second generation was ready, they entered. The second generation did not make the travel from Egypt. You see, the generation that entered the promised land, that got the benefits, they were supposed to have been born in wealth. But because of the decisions of their parents, indecisions, the 10 spies, they listened to the 10 spies, they didn't listen to Joshua and Caleb, right? What it meant was that the children that were supposed to be born in wealth were not born in wealth. But when those children grew up, they quickly and they entered in so fast. Their head was so straight because they had the right leadership. There was no confusion. All the 10 spies did not live to confuse the next generation. Imagine if the 10 spies were still around. No. So you will notice that the generation that Joshua led, their behavior was different. They did not mourn. They did not whine. Their parents would say, they didn't compare. Their parents would say, oh, Egypt was this. They gave us this food. They gave us this, that. You see, the sound wave, the vibration of their parents, okay, that was not going to get them in. So you will notice that this second generation, when the angel gave the strategy to conquer the city of Jericho, they were able to obey to the T. Walk around, be quiet, no sound. Bam! The generation that can be strategic. You see? When you say keep quiet, boom! No noise. Move. Step. 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 Unity. You're going to conquer with unity. Some generation could not work with each other. This generation, you see, wealth is built in community. All this singleness, oh, I don't trust this. You have to get rid of that nonsense. You can't go far with limited. You can't go far without. You need partnerships, collaboration, right network, right community, right leaders, right support. Boom, you have to get your head right. Boom. When your leader says move. Don't be hesitating. Don't be arguing. You see, the first generation, they were arguing with Moses. They made Moses sin. Their leader sinned. Leader didn't even go in. You see, this new generation that Joshua is going to be, you better get your mind right. If they say march. If they say be quiet. If they say don't go there. See, when they were making mistakes, the wrath of God was falling immediately on that generation. When they fight a war and they don't win it, Joshua will say, what have we done? Oh. Right? The first generation had leniency, much more. But this second generation, God was tougher, fierce. You go to war, you lose that war, you better come and ask me and clean out. You see that purity, no nonsense. That's what I'm saying. There is a because if God wants to work with you, listen, God can be a distance and be watching people doing everything, typing on Instagram, going here, talking, shouting. But when God calls you closer, when you get closer to God, you have to unhook. All those conversations you used to have, you can't have it again. The places you used to go, right? God is just looking for a church without spot or blemish. You don't know what God will have to do to clean house. He's not going to lower his standard for nobody. Not you, not anybody, not me. You see, he says his thoughts is higher. higher. Consciousness. God's consciousness are when the brilliance of God that created the whole world, created you. You better go and hook onto it. He knows more about you, more about your future, more about 10 generations beyond you. Some things he's asking you to do today is because of people you don't even know. You don't get it. You are laying the foundation for the future generation. A new group of people with new mindset, new outlook, prosperity, shining as lights. You don't know God is betting it right now. You don't know that. That God is trying to bet in you a new identity. You are trying to hold on to old failed. Listen, he says, I'm doing a new thing. Can you not perceive it? You see the old wineskin, you must shed it. Quantum leap, the caterpillar becomes a butterfly. The new does not look like the old. The glory of the latter shall be greater than that of the former. God is always advancing generation into higher levels of success and prosperity. But he needs people that will stay steady, that will obey, that will take action, that will not procrastinate, that will not doubt, that will not be all over. And so you have to become that person if you're going to be part of this movement. Coco, I see your comments. Said this was great masterclass for sure. I've been taking notes while drive. Listen, please drive safe. Coco, come up if you are able to speak. But thank you so much for the comments. See you.
She's doing better than me, Coach. I'm sitting up here. I'm just traveling from Orlando, Florida, headed to South Carolina in an 18-wheeler, and I'm like, no, I've got to be able to communicate, but maybe I ain't gonna tell.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you, everybody. Yeah. Let me wrap up with saying, join us in my school, Business School and Community, the most advanced program for entrepreneurs in the world. It's a game changer. You have the Business School, the Entrepreneur School, you have the Emotional Intelligence Program, you have the Quantum Leap programs. Take your pick. And if you want to work with me one-on-one, reach out as well. It's such an honor. Listen, when this past week, I had so many sessions, so many meetings with different people in my school, and the testimony is beyond just, oh, I want to make money. Dude, there's a lot of pressure sides of you. Listen, business side, you will do it, you make money. But to be honest with you, like, there's a higher version of us that has to emerge. Greatness, it's nurturing greatness. And greatness requires competency. Right? If you find a man skilled in his, right? If he's a man that is highly skilled, Bible says it. He says, you will not stand before mere men. You will be useful to kings. You will find yourself useful to God and kings. That is a life worth pursuing. It's a life worth pursuing. Passionately pursuing God's plan for your life. Don't stroll. When God calls you, run. Run into God's hand, because the plans he has for you, they are of good. Plan to give you an expected end. Listen, you want the expected end that is in the hand of God. Life can give you, oh, get a job, get it. That's okay. But there's a design, a divine design that we ought all to put our face. If it requires you to put your face down and just seek God's face, so that what the life you are designing is aligned to will. So that the life we are creating is one that you will say, Paul will say, I finished my course, I've done what I came here to do, now I hand over. There's so much more to life than that. Listen, and this business school is there. We build world-class businesses, and we will become the best in the world. You see, you have to become the best to build the best. But there's a process that God is going to use to build us. Because when he builds us, we can face reality and negotiate. You can do international trade, you can export, you can import, nothing will stop you. Nothing shall be impossible to them that believe. Nothing shall be impossible. So what are the impossibilities you are talking about today? It's because you've not done that work. So let's get it clear. The offer is full-on transformation. Full-on transformation to be the kind of person that can build the business and life you want, right? To be unstoppable. So take the EQ class bundle. That will change your life, change your relationship. And I say we start teaching it to our children. I got testimony this week of one of my students taking action for a child simply because of the class. I tell you, there are some things I heard this week that was like, wow. What she heard me say made her immediately. Because if you're a parent and you're investing in coaching, listen, you will start realizing your children need coach too. That you need to, your mind, the best gift you can give to your children is to train them for excellence. And the educational world, you cannot just Once you start taking my classes and start listening to me, you start seeing the world differently. And once you start seeing the world differently, you start acting differently. You cannot let the world fully program your children. You have to nurture greatness also in your children. You might have to have greater investment. You might have to put greater investment in your children than go to school, come home, lunch break, go to school, come home. You see, that stuff is old stuff. Once you start investing in yourself and you realize how you can use your mind to create unlimited wealth, unlimited success, you will see your children and say, how can I give this to you? This is what well builders do. The biggest generational blessing they can pass on is the training they give to their children. They have to get their children to think at the highest levels, not to be doing right. Because any child they don't take to the highest level of thinking, when the parent goes, the children, if the children were just exposed to lower thinking, the children will bring all that thing down, right? Your mind creates whatever. So you have to now take your children's also. Wherever you are going, better tie your children and put them on your choo-choo train. And make sure as you are sending on the plane, board the plane to quantum leap. Tie your children, tie the next generation to it. Get your children performing beyond what the school expects them to be performing. Get your kids enrolled in social functions, community function. Let them see reality. Let them understand business. Let them understand exercise. This is it. Nobody will do this for your kids. They didn't do it for you. They're not going to do it for your kids. But once you're exposed, so even the investments you put in you, in my school, the next generation benefits. That's it. You cannot be thinking the same and then be sending the kids to those same school. They go to school, they come back. They're reading the same books you read. And you want them to outperform you. Your kids must outperform you. Your parents invested in you. You must invest greater. Because if you don't do greater, they start where you end. So you have to throw them. You have to do something different for them. So this is bigger than branding. Branding is there. Listen, the most advanced training program for business is there. And then I couple and add on, right? Wisdom, EQ is wisdom. God, divine wisdom is EQ. IQ is human knowledge. You can give yourself human knowledge all you want. But you see, EQ will connect you back to your creator. It connects you back to source. Right? It connects, not just programming. Oh, I read this newspaper. Yes, you can sound smart. You can be IQ. You can have degrees and degrees. I'm saying wisdom, divine wisdom. It's in your heart. Your hopes, dreams, aspiration is connected to the divine gifts God has given us. You have to go back and go and collect all of those things. I was telling someone, I said, go and collect all your divine gifts, all your divine wealth. Collect it, nurture it, invest in it, and make sure your mind is building that, not building something else. Capiche? Thank you. Let me close out. Thank you. Yes, ToyinHumesTV.academy. Spread the word. Invite more people. I love you all. Listen, I love you. I want to see you. I want to see you say, my life changed because of Coach Toyin. See, that's his own reward, I want to tell God, I did what you told me to do for your people. You see, you tell Peter, feed my sheep. Feed my sheep. I pray I've fed you something today that you can take back to God. One of my students was like, now, the way I pray to God is different. I say, amen. You don't talk to God. He wants to talk to you. May what I'm sharing reignite your spiritual, journey with God, your spiritual relationship with God. I pray that it makes you to fall down and fall in love with God. I'm telling you, the word of God is delicious. He will tell you who you are when you spend time with him. It's the best thing since sliced bread. I pray that every time you spend with me, it awakens your spirit to hunger after the things of God, because that's where wealth is. That's where your prosperity is. The ideas, the dreams, the hopes he has for you. He wants you to partner with him so that you can bet it here in reality. Manifestation is not la, 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 la. No, manifestation. The whole world is waiting for the manifestation of the children of God. I'm telling you, God is yearning that his investments in us must not go to waste. That what he has put in us, he wants to see it. You see, even a seed, even a seed, even a seed hears and obeys what God has put in. It gives birth to a tree. Except a grain falls to the ground, it doesn't release. There's a type of discipline and a type of life that you have to give back to what you're carrying. So a seed obeys manifestation. You bury it, plant it, it must give back to life. So there's things inside us that God is saying, listen, you are not a procrastinator. You are not a doubter. I didn't create you to be afraid. No. I have my spirit. Say you will pour out the spirit upon all flesh. You don't get it. You carry the Holy Spirit. You carry God. You have so many tools in you. You are still saying, oh, no. That sound doesn't work. That sound doesn't open heaven. It doesn't. Come boldly before the throne of grace to receive mercy. Everything you need, God is saying, I am your source. I am your source. Don't say, I don't have this. You have a source and you're still saying you don't have. What is that? You have a source. You are still who are you doubting, yourself or God? Tell me, what are you doubting, you or God? We've gone to church. I'm back. Let me just close this. I'm really trying. You can tell that I'm trying. I'm going to